The next item we can cover is tracking the capsule once you've launched it. If it's your first time, you probably don't want to spend a lot of money. I've used these GPS GSM trackers on all of my launches, and they've all worked perfectly well, no problems whatsoever. But how good they are depends on your network coverage wherever you're launching your balloon from. I found an island wherever the balloon has landed. I've had no issues with recovering the balloon. These have always worked 100%. Again, they come with a spare battery. I got this on eBay. So what I've done here is I've soldered some wires onto the battery terminals. I've taken the two batteries that come with the unit, soldered wires onto the battery terminals, and I used the two batteries to power it up. That'll give you days and days of transmission time. So I always use one of these. I have used in the past spot tracker. I'm not using it on this launch. We've had some issues with these shutting down, not always sending the signals as regularly as advertised. They can, send a signal perfectly well and then suddenly stop for no reason. What had happened on my first launch is that these are weather sealed, so there's a rubber membrane which forms part of the keys on the unit. When this launched, it went up to high altitude. The air inside the unit was expelled, obviously, and when the capsule descended rapidly, the air couldn't get back in time, causing a vacuum inside the unit, which compressed the rubber membrane onto the keys and shut the unit down. So what we've done with this one now is we've taken the rubber seal out from inside it, so the air can get in and out. For another one, I drilled a tiny hole in. How you do it is up to you, but bear in mind, if you launch this with the seal intact, there's a good chance it's going to fail. But say I'm not going to use that on this particular launch. What I might be using, if I can find out a bit more about it, is I've got here an Arduino Uno board, and I'm going to attach an Arduino tracking shield to it, which does all your telemetry, and that's going to send a radio signal to this RTL receiver, which plugs into a PC or laptop, so you can track it from the ground. Now, I'm not too familiar with these, I'm just learning about them, but hopefully this will be my second tracking device on the capsule. Another item I found quite useful, I got these on eBay. They're 3.7 volt 3000 milliamp hour lithium cells. They're about double the size of an AA battery. I used these to power things such as my video recorder, cameras, depending on whatever I need to power up. I can use these in series or in parallel to give me whatever voltage I need and whatever amount of power I need. I've found these to be very effective, and again, you can get them on eBay quite inexpensively. So I'll post a link to these on my blog spot if you think you might be able to use them. Another issue people talk about is insulation and heating of the inside of the capsule. I've found that you're using an insulated box, so you could use a standard chemical hand warmer, very cheap, easy to use. They do rely on air to react, to heat up, but there's plenty of air on the way up. It'll get your capsule nice and warm. Once it's at high altitude, the heat will be retained inside the capsule, no problem for the duration of the flight. Plus your electronics can be generating their own heat. So I've never found heating an issue on any of my launches. So I usually use one or two of these and there's no problem. For the insulation of external devices such as my miniature camera, I use this clay sponge. It's quite soft and squidgy. You can buy it in craft shops. You can mould this around your equipment. I can mould it around this camera. It goes off and sets within about 24 hours and becomes quite rigid and quite tough. So my camera here is going to be covered in this stuff when it's fitted outside the capsule, and the camera itself will generate its own heat. That's going to be contained within the foam, so there's going to be no issue with this getting too cold. So it's very handy stuff. You can get it in any craft shop and it's very cheap.